Or bye-bye, Barb.
She's leaving.
Rick, I want to know why your background is in reverse image.
My background is not. I'm in reverse image.
Oh, I see.
You can read it, can't you?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. No,
Yeah.
it is
Read
reverse.
from right to left, you can.
Let's see if I can fix
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, when I did a test thing with Rick last week, I asked about the background that he had on there. He had a different stamp on there. And so I went and Googled virtual backgrounds on Zoom, and I got the instructions, but they don't exactly work. I can't find how to do that, but I'll have to research it some more.
It's a
Well, we'll
little
just look at your
icon.
ceiling fan.
It's a little icon down there with the video that you can change.
Rick, this is Ellen. I can't see anything. What is your display?
He has the train stamp.
I had a train stamp, the Transcontinental Railroad stamp, and then now
And now
changed
you've got
it
ocean
to a
view.
beach background. So I like the beach a little
interesting
better.
when you see the politicians talking, to see their bedrooms and so on that they're talking from.
I really didn't want to show my real background there, so I had to do something.
That doesn't look like the Texas Gulf Coast that I remember and everything.
Oh,
I will admit it's been a while since I've been on the Texas Gulf Coast, but that doesn't look like the Gulf Coast I remember.
it's not.
Oops, there's my piles behind me.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
That's piles and piles, hoarding piles.
It looks like your little nook at the corner or the room.
Looks like all our little nooks.
I was gonna say that's a stamp collector background there.
Yeah.
Yes.
One day I'm gonna get this mess organized.
Ken's making mine look a little rough. It seems to be a lot more organized over there.
Well, mine is lots of shoe boxes full of duplicates. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we lost something there.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ken Aldrich is trying to do here.
There you go. All you have to do is drag it back across your screen. Are you there?
Hello?
We hear you, John.
Okay, yeah, I can see you guys perfectly.
I can hear you.
You can't hear them?
Yeah, we can hear. We're good.
I can't get my video to come up.
Well, we hear you.
Yeah. All right. Well, go ahead. I'll just listen.
Okay. But what happened to ours? What's this here?
I don't know what's going on here.
Somebody's sharing their screen.
Somebody's sharing their
I know. Ken, hey, Ken, you need to stop screen sharing.
What did you say? Need to do what?
Stop
Ken Aldrich.
screen sharing.
You're talking to Ken Aldrich.
Yes, yes.
Oh, Ken.
There we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Thank you, Ken.
All right.
And Ken, in
Yes.
case you guys didn't know it, Ken's got a new book out, and I think Stanley is one of the main characters in it. So
Yes, that's what we understand.
What is the book on?
I'll let Ken explain that. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
Well, hand me the book right there.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Oh, that's great. Let me see what it looks like. Yeah.
This is what it looks like. Can you see it okay?
Fantastic.
Yep. The Romance Now Con Game. But yeah, that's his latest book.
Okay, can I easily Google it and by one on ABE or one of those groups, or is it not yet released?
I think it's been released.
Okay,
Ken?
I'll give a shot at it. Perfect.
Okay.
Who's asking?
John Withers.
Oh, John, I can send you one for $13, autograph.
Oh, that would be a treat. I can tell you, no problem. I that's one of the things I've enjoyed with your club is the interaction on other items and everything. You know, right now I'm a founding family in a place called Grapevine, and that was how I came to join your group early on. So I'd love to have a copy of Ken's book. So just shoot me a copy, and I'll get a check or a money order right back to you.
Okay, is your address in our directory?
It is. The directory is perfect. I can tell you that's when I joined your group and saw the quality of what you all are doing for the 21st century, the full contact information is there for me.
Okay, good. I'll send one tomorrow.
That's
Perfect.
John Withers, Ken.
Yeah.
All right.
And Ken, you got our check, right?
I'll make it out to you guys and everything, but that's kind of like the interaction I've been getting with the Columbia Philatelic Society. Their next meeting, they're going to Zoom also. So basically, they are kind of following your lead also on the idea of the very comprehensive club directory. So
Great.
you get, and also I will mention one thing for Rick. Rick, if you haven't realized it or know about it, there is a very sophisticated web chronicle being done by North Texas State University called Portals on Texas History. And if you happen to have good success with this recording of this Zoom first meeting of your club with Zoom, you ought to let me know, particularly if it's real good, because I'd like to let their director of materials know about y'all's successes.
Okay, John, I appreciate that, and we'll take a look at that. Do you guys want to do a show and tell? Has
Rick,
anybody got anything
Rick,
interesting? Yes, ma'am.
This is Elaine,
Uh-huh.
and since I can't see, would you just review who all is attending?
Yes, ma'am. We've got Stan and Judy, Gary McNamee, John Withers, Dave Stockbridge. That's Gene Okerlund there. Ken Wills, Scott English, James Taylor showed up there. James, you need to unmute yourself.
Who?
James Taylor.
Oh, Taylor. Okay.
And Skip is here. Ken Aldridge. Ralph is online. Ralph Poor. And you.
Thank you. You
Did
guys
I forget anybody there?
Hey, can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
can hear.
Okay, it's Bob Coleman. Okay.
Oh, Bob, okay.
Hey, Bob.
I-
How you doing?
It shows up as Vicky's iPad.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It's on Vicky's iPad.
Oh, okay. All right. Stan and Judy, you guys have anything up there? Or?
Just
I've got a big box of stamps,
A big box of stamps.
of plate blocks. So,
Plate blocks. Uh-oh.
yeah. So I'm almost at the end of the word sort. So anyway, next time we get together, I'll bring the box and you guys can go through it and take whatever you want.
Okay.
At 40%, of course.
I,
It goes
Scene for $10.
I haven't finished sorting through the last bunch of those I got from
Well, that's all right. It's not going anywhere.
And I'm sorry Rich isn't on here, but I'll need to get with him because, you know, we've got an election coming up in November. And I want to, you know, find out if he wants to go ahead with it or postpone it a year or just what.
I don't know what to tell you there, Judy.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping he would attend tonight, but
yeah. Well, I'll give him a call tomorrow and see what he wants to do.
yeah.
But that's, I mean, you know, I deposited all the checks that Tom gave me. So we have like 17,000 in the checking account. And everything is just going slowly. I mean, but the only thing I'm paying for is the newsletter.
Okay.
You know, you might find out that one of the things that you will have to do is to send refunds to the dealers. And,
Yes.
And one of the questions is, if we do have to cancel, what's our liability with the Grapevine Convention Center? Do we get a refund from them if they say that we can't have the meeting? Or if we cancel the meeting, do we then forfeit that money?
Yeah, if we cancel, we forfeit the
Ralph.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ralph, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. If we cancel, we forfeit. If they cancel, we get a refund, or it's credited to next year.
Yeah.
How much notice do they have to give us, Ralph?
There's nothing that really specifies, but they've told us that they should know the month before.
Okay. Is the St. Louis Stamp Show going on this week, Scott?
Yes, sir. Starts on Friday the 14th and will run through Sunday the 17th. Although it's traditionally a World Series of Philately show, unfortunately there was a cancellation from the State Revenue Society and the American Revenue Association at the last minute. So they ended up losing quite a few frames. So they're down to 85 frames. Their jury is a jury of one. Wow. Our APS president, Bob Ziegler, has agreed to serve as the jury on his own. So he'll be, he's leaving tomorrow from Indianapolis to head down. It's a 5-hour drive, he said, and he'll be judging 85 exhibits on his own, 85 frames.
Wow.
Excuse me, 85 frames on his own. So he is a trooper. I can't believe he was willing to do it, but he stepped into the breach and said he'd be happy to help. So I know they have they're estimating 27 dealers will be there in place. If any of you want to make the trek, they are requiring face masks. They have hand sanitizers. They will be enforcing social distancing. They have security that will help them do that. And I'm not sure what the foot traffic's going to be at the show. I'm kind of curious to see how things shake out for this.
Yeah, we'll all be watching that.
Yeah, let us know.
Thanks to the APS for stepping up again.
How do you plan to have separation between the dealer and the customer sitting at his counter?
Based on the conversations that I've had with them, they plan to make sure that they have enough space, so they're going to isolate the booths. So you won't have the booths tightly packed together as you normally do. And because they have about 56 booth spaces available, and they only have half as many dealers that will be there. So they're going to create space that way. They also want to, they have a limited number of chairs that will be at each booth. Usually you get, 3, 4, depending on the dealer. In this case, they're only going to have a couple of chairs, and there's a limit to the number of people that can be in the room at any one time. So it's going to be challenging, I think. And many shows that have looked at doing that didn't think the expense was worth it, or the risk to the dealers and the attendees was worth it. But they're sort of in a box, sort of like everyone else is, that they weren't able to cancel the show without a financial penalty, and the hotel expected them to proceed with doing the show. So I think they were caught between a rock and a hard place here.
It's a tough call for security to allow who can go in next, and because most people go in, they're there for 3 or 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, I mean, you got dealers that need to have, that need to have 5, 6, 7, 15. Jim Dempsey, when he does our show, he's got 3 booths combined. And if Jim doesn't have 20 people sitting at that booth at any one time, he's not going to make money for that show. And now he does make lots of money at our shows, but but that certainly would be a challenge to him. And, sometimes there are dealers who don't have patience for folks who are just digging through boxes and aren't necessarily going to spend a lot of money by the time they're done.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was interesting that Tom Cunningham said that the Grapevine Convention Center hosted a coin show, not too long ago. And so the experiences they had, we might be able to borrow on for our show.
But the ASDA was supposed, or TSDA was supposed to have a show this weekend, but they've canceled that.
Yeah, well, that's Dallas County, you see, and of course, the Grapevine is Tarrant County, so it's a different set of rules.
Yeah.
But if they had the coin show at this point in time, unless things get out of hand, I'm guessing we will have a stamp show, or at least a potential stamp show. Certainly, Tom seems to be very anxious from his standpoint to have an opportunity to have a show.
I'm sure. We would all like to, I mean, and hopefully there won't be any problems with that. So I guess Ralph is the man in charge of it. So anything else there, Ralph?
Well, we're proceeding. We're proceeding under the assumption we're going to have the show, and it's looking like we're going to have the dealers, and we'll have the frames. So I mean, unless something else changes, we already have agreement for 3 world-class judges. We're already over 50% of the dealers paid, I understand. So that pretty much means that it's on track to happening, and it'll be up to the convention center to tell us that that we can't have it. I think that's pretty much the way it's headed, that we're going to have it.
We may have some volunteers that are apprehensive about coming and helping, and we may have some customers who are apprehensive about coming. That'll be interesting to see what the turnout.
Yes. Yes. Most definitely.
Well, the mail-out envelopes have already been printed, and I'll put the stamps on them next month.
So you're gonna do that all yourself?
Hopefully you'll get some help putting the stamps on them next month.
No, I can do the stamps in front of the TV. It's just stuff in the envelopes. But even there's only 650 of them this time. So
Yeah, see, I think Stan and I probably could stuff the envelopes if we don't have a meeting in October.
Yeah, so that's no problem.
Stanley, I live close enough to you that you let me know. I'll come by and help. I'll wear a mask, but I'll come by and help.
Okay. Thank you.
Or I'll come and pick some up too, and help out there too. So
we'll get it done.
Oh yeah. Now, Dave Alex will not have his ad. So the only thing we have going is the flyer with the president's letter and the dealer list. And I'm not too keen about putting a club application in this year because we really didn't get a whole lot of feedback from last year. But I'll leave that up to Ralph.
Okay, well, we'll discuss it, because I'm hoping that we can have an in-person executive committee meeting here in the not too distant future.
Yeah, we really need
a couple of venues.
Well, Ralph, if you have a problem getting that together, I'll be happy to host another Zoom meeting for you. Just give me a 10-minute notice or whatever, and we'll get it together.
Yeah, I appreciate that as an option. Thanks, Rick.
Okay.
Ralph, this is Aileen. If you have an in-person meeting, give me plenty of notice.
Okay.
I've got cattle to feed.
Yeah, and they are eating machines.
Yes, indeed.
And I bet that makes you unique in the club.
Yes, it does. We have a rancher.
Yeah, both my sisters had cattle, and they ate them out of house and home.
That's what they say about these urban cowboys. They're all hat and no cattle.
Yeah.
Alien stepping up to the plate there.
There you go.
I didn't have a choice.
It came with the room, right?
Oh, a permanent resident.
All right. Skip, you got anything you want to add to it since we're going around, I guess, doing business here?
Yeah, well, membership, we're still at 89 members with Scott English there being our last new member. And so,
And it's
but with
appreciated.
no meetings, it's all quiet on that front.
Okay. Any reports from Granbury there today, or you have to unmute yourself to let us hear from you? There you go.
Not sure you're hearing anything I'm saying, are you?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Okay.
Now.
I wasn't sure because the first computer I used, I couldn't get any of your sound.
Oh gosh.
Good to have backups.
Yeah.
The Granbury group has held 3 of these virtual Zoom meetings to date, and we will continue that this month with one on the 4th Tuesday of the month, which my calendar's under my computer, so I can't see it.
Oh God, I have to do a program for that too, don't I?
It's the 25th. I'm looking up on the wall. I say, yes, we do have a program, Rick Howell. Rick, since you're doing the program, it might be best that you host it as well rather than having Gary. Gary McNamee also has the Zoom program so that he can host meetings, and we thank you, Gary, for doing that. I see we have 3 of our Granbury members on here tonight, but the meetings we had between, I think it was 9 and 12 members each time.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Fantastic.
It's been a good
Some of
attendance
you
from the Granbury
are
group.
represented
That's
here. Scott joined
fantastic.
us last meeting, and that was appreciated greatly. And John, I hope you join us in the future.
You've already given me an idea. I have my Zoom calendar here, so
Okay.
I'll add your meeting to my Zoom calendar.
That'll be 7 o'clock Central Time on the 25th.
Well, like I say, you have to forgive us on the East Coast. It took me about 15 minutes waiting for y'all to beam on before I realized y'all were talking 7 o'clock Central. So I went up and had dinner and came back. So I'll do better next time.
Yeah, but you think of it, you're going to be early regardless.
Right.
I sat there for 15 minutes before it dawned on me that y'all were talking Central Time. I said, God, I can have dinner and get back in time.
I try to put that on the notices that it's Central Daylight time, you know.
Rick, you want to share with them what your program will be?
The program is going to be the Texas Confederate Postmaster Provisionals, and I think some of you at the Arlington meeting have seen that already. So primarily, it's for the Granbury group, and I've made a couple of changes to the program, but it's not that big a deal, not a big difference. So.
Well, that's all I've got to report.
That's it. Okay, Gary, I'll go ahead and host the Granbury meeting, and I'll put out a meeting notice for that.
Okay.
And I appreciate what you've done in the past. The club's
Rick,
paying.
I had one thing I wanted to add. I got an email from Joanne Berkowitz within the last couple of days, and the ISWSC, the International Society of Worldwide Stamp Collectors, is having their first virtual meeting on the 18th
At 11 o'clock.
11 a.m. Central Time. And they've sent out an agenda for that. I don't know if it's open only to their members or if it's open to anyone. I can check on that, I guess, if someone is interested.
I'm not sure either, Gary. They gave a meeting ID with that notice, so I would assume it's open to anybody.
Okay.
I think if anybody has a meeting ID, they can get into it.
Okay, I can give you the meeting ID if you want it.
Yeah, I think.
Joanne Berkowitz sent that information, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Yes.
So I can tell you that that meeting is part of the virtual stamp show we're doing next week.
Okay.
And if you're registered, you can get through the link through the virtual stamp show as well to get to that meeting. It is a public meeting as part of the 60 meetings and talks and everything else we're going to do next week.
Yeah, that is a huge effort there, Scott. You guys ought to be proud if you can pull that one off.
It's been an undertaking to get this far.
I was looking at some of the dealers and speakers and everything else that you guys have planned for that. It's pretty amazing. I hope everybody in our club will take a look at that and register online at APS at stamps.org for you guys. It's an amazing undertaking.
Has everybody registered? Just raise your hand if you have. All right. I need to get the rest of you there too. Remember to go. You don't have to be a member of the APS to participate in it. Right now we have 55 dealers, and I think that number is going to grow by the end of the week further, that will be participating online. We have 100 exhibits at least that will be up and operating, and we have an endless list of speakers that will be doing presentations. There'll be club meetings, you name it. Some of these clubs are meeting online for the first time ever, including the International Society of Worldwide Collectors. Joanne put me on the spot last week. I was at the Sacramento Philatelic Society meeting online, and she said, I've been trying to get our meeting scheduled as part of the virtual stamp show, but I haven't heard back from anyone. And I said, you will tomorrow morning. Don't worry about it. And sure enough, we got everything lined up.
Yeah, your guys up there at the APS have really been on the ball. I tell you, they're fantastic. Really good bunch of people.
They're fantastic people. We're really fortunate to have them.
Yeah.
What are the dates on that meeting, Scott?
So it runs from the 17th, next Monday, through the 22nd. That's Saturday. We have a registration portal that you should go to. But if you go to stamps.org, you'll have the link to get to that site. And I mean, Rick, if you don't mind, I can share what the website looks like, and people can take a look at what we're doing.
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
You should be
full disclosure. I do this 3 times a night. I have been for the last 3 weeks, but every show is different. Here you go. All right, so I'm going to take you back out to the front of this. This is what the website's going to look like. So as you can see, we have 2,300 participants registered so far. About 15% or so are not members of either the American First Day Cover Society, the American Topical Association, or the American Philatelic Society. 20% of our participants are from outside of the United States. And so we have an active participation among worldwide members as well. We have 3 different things that are happening. The dealer bourse, which I'll show you that list in a minute, but I want to show you the rest of the setup first. We have exhibits, like I said, we have 100. Now this is just one, just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. This is the inverted Jenny exhibit that we have for those of you who know, we do actually own an inverted Jenny, and I recovered one of the stolen ones in 2016. Which is also part of this exhibit. But here's a really cool thing. You can go full screen on this, and now I'm looking at the crowd. You're a fairly young group of people, so you may not have this problem, but for an aging guy like me, your eyesight's not quite what it used to be. You can get some magnification going, and you can see that you can get a really close look at the images on the stamps. Now you can magnify a few times here. So if you really want to get in there and take a look at the perfs on this, and you can see with this, the funny thing about this block of McCoy stamps that we had is the 2 things that are consistent about all 3 that we've recovered so far is that they were reperfed so that along the guidelines, just to make sure that you couldn't tell it visibly. And then, as you know, there's a number that was written in pencil on the back of each one of the inverted Jennies. And on the 4 that were stolen from our show in 1955, they erased the number with a pencil. So it sort of, it took a little bit of the gum off and the number's not there. The idea was that, at least to the naked eye, you couldn't tell that it was a stolen one. Each one of these has had to be plated in order to figure that out.
Wow.
That's just a fun piece of information for you. And you go through the whole history of the inverted Jenny. I'm in here somewhere. Oh, here you go. Now, I'm a lot younger and handsomer here than I am now. And you can see I'm, addressing a crowd. This, by the way, got coverage on every continent in the world. We had hundreds of media outlets that were there. This is the Javits Center at the World Stamp Show in 2016. It was quite an event. So I'm going to exit out of that for a second. Now I'm going to take you over to the speakers list. Now, or the conference schedule. Now you'll see I've got, let's start at the top here where it says I've got 66 events listed. And I'm going 20 per page. If I did the whole, all of them, you would see a pretty exhaustive list. And, we're talking about the International Society of Worldwide Stamp Collectors. So you go here, and then all you'll have to do is click through this attend session. It'll take you right to the event when it goes live on Tuesday at noon our time. And you'll be able to join them. And I really would encourage that because it's a wonderful organization. I'm a member. And I really enjoy that. But you can see it's a wide variety of things. We've got Stamp Social, so you can connect with other collectors. We've got courses discussing topical collecting and any number of things. We've got folks from the UK who were doing presentations earlier in the day. The American First Day Cover Society has a hospitality room every night. For any of you who are first day collectors and you've been to an AmeriCover event, part of the fun of going to AmeriCover is that you've got the room to go to at night where you do some socializing off the boards and have a little bit of fun. And so we're doing as many of those as we can so that we can do connections with it. We have got Esper. When we get to the 22nd, that's on Saturday, you can see that we've got most of our club meetings are going on there. And each one of these will have presenters as well. So don't think it's just a business meeting. If you've ever been interested in a different organization like the American Revenuers, who were planning to be in St. Louis this week, they opted now, since they're not traveling to that show, they're going to be doing their general meeting. I'm an ARA member, and they're also going to have a presentation by Ron Lesher, who's one of the preeminent revenue collectors, State Revenue Society. Ron's also doing a presentation there. He double times with the revenue associations. He's got a lot of knowledge on this. The UN Philatelist, also a member of that group, and they'll have a presentation on the, I think it's on the League of Nations, and it's going to be that's a really interesting talk. So you can see, it doesn't matter what your level of interest is or what your special interest is. It's a pretty substantial list of events that are going on. Now, just for interest's sake, I'm going to take you over to the website for a second. Now, if you go to our website, this is the landing page. If you go to this one here where we do the virtual stamp show FAQ, you can see that you have, where you can log in. Please be sure to register this week. We want to make sure that you can participate in all of the events. So if you have any issues with logging in, we want to get those squared away as quickly as possible. We've got staff that are ready to answer and help anytime you want. So you can see here's the working list right now of all of them. The cool thing about the dealer directory is when you go to that BORS, you'll be able to filter out. So if you're a first day cover collector or a topical collector, collect US, Germany, whatever you do, it'll filter out and take you to the dealers that cover that area. So you can get right to the specialties that you're looking for. But I would really encourage you to go to all of them. The connection is this: you'll get to either an eBay site, a hip stamp site. We've got 8 show dealers who have been using StampSword to sell stamps while the show circuits are shut down, and they'll also have all of their material up. We have several dealers that will also be doing live sessions. So if you've got wish lists and things like that, you can go and look at the calendar and figure out who's going to be live and be able to talk to them about different items that you're looking for. You've got questions or something you've always wanted to know. We've got you set up for that. So this list is going to continue to grow as well. It has, as Rick said, it's been a massive undertaking by us to get us this far. And it's going to be different than going to a traditional stamp show, but it's not quite the same as being there, but I think it's as good as it's going to get for right now. And it'll all happen from the safety of your own home. You don't have to socially distance, you already are. And you'll still be able to engage in the hobby in a way that's very meaningful. You'll meet collectors from around the world, fellow members of the APS. And if you're not a member of the APS, well, first of all, why not? But if you aren't a member of the APS, then this might be an incentive for you to become one. And we certainly do welcome it. I'm happy to answer any questions. But like I said, please go to our website, get registered this week, start looking at the schedule of events. It is the Disney World of stamp collecting. You will not be able to do everything in one day. The good news is we're recording all of the talks. So if you miss one, and that includes the club meetings as well. So if you miss one, we will be posting those up and you'll be able to go back and catch them afterwards. But it's going to be awesome to be able to connect with members just like this and be able to talk about stamp collecting.
That's great, Scott. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
I know you've been pretty active with the APS, but you're also a member of a whole bunch of clubs. How many clubs are you a member of now? Have you got a running total of that?
Local chapter, I do. Local chapters, I am a member of 60 local chapters around the country. I was at the Brandywine Valley Stamp Club before I joined this meeting. It started at 7 our time. They're in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm here for this one. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, my time, I will be joining our friends out in Salem, Oregon at the Salem Stamp Society. And I will be doing much the same as I've done here and communicating with our members directly. Yesterday, I did 4 meetings. Aside from my job, by the way, I still have to do that too. But I attended 4 meetings as well there. I only have 2 more meetings for the rest of the week. I'll be joining the North Toronto Stamp Club tomorrow night. Toronto has 3 different stamp clubs in the greater area. And I am a member of the West Toronto Stamp Club and was there 2 weeks ago. Great program. North Toronto is tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that one. And then our friends from the Omaha Philatelic Society, which I am also a member of, will be meeting on Friday night. They just canceled their World Series show for September, unfortunately. So, but I will be pitching them on the idea of you can't have your own show, but we've got one for you, and get all those folks signed up as well. National organizations and affiliates, those are the other groups that we have, be it the Revenue Society, the State Revenue Society, the American Revenue Association, the American Topical Association. I won't run down all of them that I am a member of, but I am a member of our affiliates. I am a member of 40 national affiliates. I'm also a member of 2 stamp clubs in Canada, and I am a member of the Royal Philatelic Society of Canada, as well as the Royal Philatelic Society of London.
You're one busy man.
I can't wait for folks to come to Bellefonte. I've got to go to them. And so every club that's been kind enough to have me visit them in person, I have joined. And my deal is always this: if you mail me a reminder that I need to renew, I will. And if you forget to mail me a reminder, I probably won't renew on my own because I have too many to keep track of.
Yes.
Most of them have great journals, and they're a pleasure to read, and I'm happy to be a member of them. But I cover the coast to coast and internationally as well. I want to expand further into Canada, and I will probably start expanding into Europe as well. So.
All right, Scott, I've made a note to send you an email to remind you about your renewal.
But that's 2 years off, Skip.
Yeah, I was gonna say I usually like to pay for a couple of years just to take the burden off you and me. And Rick was kind enough just on a lark to email me and ask me if I would be willing to join. And like I said, I always tell everybody, if you ask me, I'm going to say yes, but you got to ask me.
Oh, well, that's true. You put in your membership for this year and next. So
yes, sir.
By the time the following year comes around, I'm liable to have forgotten.
We're happy to be able to include you as a member.
Y'all do pretty good work on communication, so I don't know if I'll forget you as I might with some other clubs.
All right. Anybody got anything else they want to throw in there? Well, everybody's shaking their head no.
Yeah.
We didn't get around to a show and tell. You guys want to try to do a show and tell?
Well, I think we had a great program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
And when should we plan on having another?
I would like to go ahead and schedule these virtual meetings at the same time as our normal meetings, as long as we can't hold the normal meetings in person.
Okay.
Let's just assume we'll have a virtual meeting and we'll do that.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds
If that's
good.
okay with you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
First and
sounds
third
good.
week.
And like I
Let's
say,
see.
Ralph, if you need virtual meeting for the stamp show meeting, let me know.
Thank you, Rick. I will.
Be happy to help
Okay,
out.
and Ralph,
Yes,
when I
Judy.
talked to Rich, would you be offended if we held a board meeting after the expo meeting?
No, I never got a straight answer to the question as to whether or not the chairman of the expo was ex officio on the board or not.
I believe he's always been an ex official in the past.
Yeah, always.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
well, that when I had asked Rick, he said he didn't know. So
Okay.
but
Well, us old timers, no.
Yeah, unless
Okay.
you change the rules. No, I was always a member of the ex officio.
Okay, well, that's fine with me too.
I'll tell you what.
I demand my pay be doubled though.
You what? Oh, your pay's going to double?
Fees are going to
Yeah.
double.
I believe, I can't remember exactly in the Constitution, but I think ex officio is basically those who served previously as a president or something. And I think that for Ralph to be elected to the board, it needs a board activity to invite him and elect him.
Okay, all right.
Perfect.
That can be taken care of.
Yeah, you're gonna be railroaded there, Ralph. So.
Well, at least you had the right visual aid.
For sure.
Well, this is
All
great
right.
seeing everybody together again.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've got a few people on here that are
Yeah,
logging in
I'm
for the
sad
first
that there's
time.
not more.
I am too. With 89 members, you would think we would have more.
Yes.
I was really hoping Ray would get on board here, but I don't see it. So
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to him about that.
Well, you may have to show him how to set it up so that he could even do it.
I was under the impression that he already knew how to do that, but I guess maybe not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard. You said Ray, not Rick. Okay, sorry.
Ray Cartier.
Yeah, Ray Cartier. Yes, he knows how to set it up. I don't know. He's usually pretty reliable.
Yeah. I don't
Yes,
know.
he has. Yes.
Hope
Well,
nothing
maybe he
happened.
just forgot.
I probably just forgot.
I probably should have emailed him this morning.
Yeah. Yes. He needs a little extra reminder. Do that for next time.
Okay.
As do we all.
Oh, come on. We're all on the ball.
But we have so many of those balls, the juggling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes one or two of them drop.
gonna say, just listening to Scott. I mean, good grief. I don't see how he keeps it all straight.
He's probably got a pretty good calendar in this 21st century. I imagine he has to, particularly if he's got 8.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that 80 individual members. I think that's very clever. 80 individual memberships. Scott, I give you credit for that. That's very, I hope Columbia Philatelic and New Haven Philatelic have extended a membership to you because this is a very effective way to interact with your groups.
So, John, just a note, John Owens is somebody I met a long time ago. I lived in Columbia, South Carolina for about 12 years of my life before I moved up here. That was when I was in government service, and my apologies for that. But I got to know John through Mick Zase, our former president, who I worked with when I was down in South Carolina when Mick was superintendent of schools there. He's deputy secretary of education right now. And I took a pass on traveling to DC to work with him again. But I got to know John, and I joined the society just because I was happy to be a part of it. So yes, I am. Now, New Haven, I am not a member of, but I'm sure you can remedy that if you'd like.
We'll take care of that, but I will tell you that John and I are doing a very special holiday greeting, following on about 30 years of holiday greetings that I did with a couple of Connecticut people. But this year he got me a very special South Carolina, and I know your Mick fella, because he was captivated by a Purple Heart and West Point cover that a Texas artist did for me. And right before he headed out for Washington, I gave him a couple of those covers. But he thinks I'm pretty good on the cover side. But wait till you see what John Owen and I do for the holiday greeting. It's really going to be philatelically special.
That's great. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, you'll get a copy of it for sure.
Wonderful.
Scott, do you really have a job as well as doing all this?
Yes, yes, sir. I worked all day today, and I will work into the evening as well. I do manage to get work done as well. I've got to lead the team here in Bellefonte to put together the virtual stamp show. I am prepping for a board meeting next week. I could talk about the finances of the organization with you if you want to hear about those. We're doing very well right now. I'm about to cut our debt down below $1 million for the first time in 20 years.
Wow.
And I'm very excited. When I got here in 2015, I put together a strategic plan in the first 4 months I was here, presented it to the APS and the APRO boards in Atlanta, Georgia at the Ameristamp Expo that we did there in 2016. And I stood in front of them and said, based on current projections, you'll pay off your mortgage in 2035. I'm going to cut that in half. And they all looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. And our peak debt hit in 2016 when we finished construction of the library. We were $5.4 million in debt. Today, we're $1.7 million in debt. By the end of, within 2 months, we're going to be below $1 million. I'm going to be at 900,000 ballpark. Maybe a little bit less than that. And that puts us on a repayment track to be done no later than 2025. And so that means I did cut it in half, but realistically speaking, I think we'll do it sooner than that.
That's awesome.
Great job.
Do you have a family?
Pardon me?
Do you have a family?
Yes, ma'am. I have a wife and 3 children.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. And
that's why he stays busy.
Oh, yes. Well, you must have a very understanding wife.
My wife is 27 years of happy marriage. Well, 27 happy years for me. Her probably 7 or 8. But but now think about this. I mean, prior to coming here, I worked in Washington, D.C. for almost 12 years. I worked in South Carolina for the governor of South Carolina for 8 years. And I spent the last 3 of those as his chief of staff. And so my running joke is I've made international news twice, once for finding a lost stamp and once for finding a lost governor.
Oh yeah.
So,
Rick, congratulations. This thing worked perfectly.
Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Scott, I'm sure you got a better report on finding the stamp than you did the governor.
Yeah, it's a much happier story to tell. I can tell you that. Although hiking the Appalachian Trail is, I always said this, if you've ever laughed at hearing someone say that you have me to thank because I'm the one who coined that phrase and ended up being dead wrong about that.
All right.
Well, Rick, I'm going to say thank you for organizing this tonight.
Yes,
It's gone very
yes.
well. And
Thank you very much.
I was kind of railroaded into it too.
bye to
I'm glad to see you guys participating in this, and hopefully we can get it to spread out a little bit more and
Yes.
get more people involved in it. So if you just let them know that it's not that hard to do, then
No.
Yeah, we'll tell them that they missed a really good meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
All right, we'll have to do it again, and maybe we can get a program organized.
Well,
I appreciate you jumping in there, Scott, and taking care of that little promo for us. So that took up some time for us. So that's a great thing.
I can fill space anytime you need me to.
All right.
Thanks for everything, fellas. Talk to you later.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Say, Rick, maybe we can get Ray to do his program then in September.
We'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to him and see what the holdup was. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. If that's it. Nobody
All right.
has anything else to add? James,
Nope.
how about you, man? Haven't heard a word out of you.
I apologize for the lack of visual. I got a new phone that's giving me fits, and I couldn't transfer the website to my laptop. That's where I usually do the Zoom. And so anyway, next time I'll be on visual, that's for sure.
Good. Good.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Did you get me okay?
Pardon?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Bob. Did you get me okay?
Yeah, we got you, Bob.
Yes. You've been very quiet, Bob.
Yeah, you have been quiet.
Hi,
Well-
Bob. This is Eileen.
Hey, Eileen. I'll talk to y'all later. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right,
Good night.
Bob.
We appreciate you
Good night. Have
tuning
a
us
good one.
in.
Thanks
All right.
everybody for showing up.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you
seeing
again,
everyone.
All right.
Thank you,
Yes.
Rick.
All right. Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.
Everyone.